Hi, this is Elizabeth at craftsbyhappystamper.com. Today I'm showing you how to make this card that I made following a sketch from Can You Case It. This is my design team contribution. Actually, the video is going to show you a slightly different version of this same card, but it's the basic same card. I just did a little bit different with the background. So first I started with the piece of 11 by 4 1/4 thick Whisper White cardstock from Stampin' Up. This is the thick stuff because I'm going to color on it. I didn't want it to bleed through, so that's why I used the thick cardstock. This is a stamp from the Bordering Bloom stamp set, and I've had this set for a little while, but I haven't used it yet, and I thought that this would be a perfect opportunity. So right now I'm inking up the Bordering Bloom stamp that I want, and I'm using the new archival black ink from Stampin' Up. It's available, not available yet, but it will be available for customers soon on September 1st. So this archival ink, I can color with it with the marker, and I can also watercolor with it. And since I'll be watercoloring a little later, I decided to use the same black ink for all of it. So now I'm speeding this up quite a bit, but I'm just going to show you that I colored all the same images, the same thing. So these types of flowers that I'm coloring right now, I did them all in Calypso Coral on both sides. I did all the leaves in Old Olive. And then I did these other sort of blooms in Daffodil Delight. And I did the little buds in Rose Red, which you'll see here in just a second. So I tried to keep all of it relatively simplistic because I didn't want it to overpower the rest of the card. But I'll show you in a minute what I did to the background, and I thought once I put it all together that it was just too many different colors. So the card that I showed you a picture of at the beginning was my redo attempt in order to play down the color too much. I needed more white space, I thought, in order to make it all balance out. So now I'm going to use the Fluttering Wings embossing folder, and this is what I'm talking about. I decided that it would be nice to have a soft sky blue background, and the butterflies would be white. So I used my ink pad on the embossing folder, and then I put my white cardstock, which is 2.75 by 5.5, through my Big Shot, and you could see that that's what it looks like. And it doesn't look bad by itself, but when you put it on the card, I just thought it was too much. So I matted this white cardstock with a piece of Soft Sky cardstock, which is just 1/8 of an inch wider on each side, so it's 2 7/8 by 5.5, and I'm using liquid glue to attach it. And I don't think that looks bad by itself. I just think that once you put it on the card, it just looks like too much. So you could see me attaching it, and I'll show you the other card later without the Soft Sky background. And I also, instead of introducing a new primary color like Soft Sky, I also changed it to Old Olive so that it seemed more seamless. At least I felt like it did, without introducing more colors. It was just too much, I thought. But you can have your own opinion. This is one way to do it, and if you like this better, more power to you. So this watercolor paper is 2.5 square, and I'm stamping the calla lilies, I think they are, from Remarkably You, or Remarkable You. And I'm going to watercolor, so I'm just using my markers, and I'm scribbling some ink on a clear acrylic block. And I'm using an aqua painter, but I don't actually have water inside the aqua painter. I'm just using it as a brush. I have separate water there that in that little metal bowl that you could see. So I'm putting a little bit of Daffodil Delight in the centers, and then even a little bit less so that it's like radiating light in the center. The stem I thought I would do in Old Olive, but there actually ended up not really being any stems present in my stamping, so I didn't actually need that. And there I just cleaned off the acrylic block. And now I'm using Soft Sky to put a light blue background around the outside of the flowers. So what I'm doing is wetting the entire background, because if you want the color to be light, it's best to wet the paper first. because then it will blend when you put the ink on it much more seamlessly. You don't actually have to work at it at all. You just have to touch it to the paper and it starts to blend on its own. So you can see I'm just giving it a subtle soft sky color. And then after this dries, I will mount it to a 2 and 5/8 inch square soft sky mat so that it coordinates with the other mat I did for the Fluttering Flies butterfly. And I'm just using, this is just scrap watercolor paper and scrapped soft sky cardstock. I try my best to look through my scraps first, and you could see that I colored on the back of this watercolor paper, so it's definitely scrap paper. And now I am taping it down. Now, this is something that I didn't think about until later, and I didn't show you, but I re-glued this down with glue, liquid glue instead of tape, because the watercolor paper has, when it gets wet, it has a tendency to warp a little. It popped up with the tape after a little while, so then I ended up re-gluing it with liquid glue. So it's just something to keep in mind. And now I added dimensionals to the back of my piece, and I'm going to put that in the upper right hand corner to match the sketch challenge for Can You Case It. Even though this is the challenge, I really thought that the blooms were beautiful, and I was reluctant to cover them up, but I was trying to follow the sketch. So now I just cut an old olive butterfly from the Bold Butterflies Thinlits dies, and after I put it on there, I decided it needed just a little bit something else, so I put a pearl on top of it. So this is the finished card for the video, but and I don't think it's a bad looking card. After a while, I just decided that there was just too much going on, so I ended up changing the background to just a simple Whisper White Fluttering Flies background, and I matted everything in the same color, so everything's old olive and it all matches. And this is the finished card. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And you can click on the link in the description in order to get to my blog to find all the supplies and to make your own entry for the Can You Case It sketch challenge. Thank you.